afternoon and welcome to the Happy Half Hour. I'm Leigh Kubin, Master Certified Life Coach and Mindset Coach.
I'm Sandra Priestley. I'm a business and branding coach, also a feng shui practitioner. Hello, welcome to the podcast and happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. We made it.
I know. I have had such a good week. I'm so excited. So I am drinking Moscow Mule out of my cool cup with the big, huge square ice cube.
Nice.
I love it. What are you drinking today?
Well, I'm drinking some salted caramel whiskey. I was looking at the wine.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I've had a pretty badass week. And I was like, whiskey.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
I have had kind of a badass week myself.
Don't you love those?
I do. Well, let's just chat about my transformation this week. So, you know how, like a little while ago on this podcast, you had kind of mindset coached me through just like the way that I was feeling about my weight. And if you have not listened to that podcast, it was like, it's been this period of time where chronic stress has just kind of like built this weight on. And so no matter what it was, I shouldn't say that. It was like, no matter what I tried, no matter how I knew better. I knew that I needed to tell a different story. I knew that everything that you were telling me was absolutely true. It wasn't anything that I didn't know. I mean, I help women in business all the time with their mindset stuff. I am like
But that's why we all need a coach. We can't see our own shit.
So true. It's so true. And like I said to you earlier, like, I don't care if someone kicks me in the ass, I deserve it. Because, and I don't show up with these problems so that everyone can just pat me on the ass or rub me on the head and go, it's okay. I feel the same. No, I come to a coach so the coach can go, hey, but what story are you telling yourself? And so I feel like I needed to kind of work through it a little bit. And this week, I just had this moment where I thought, I am so fucking tired of this story that I'm telling.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes I
You
think we
got
just
tired of your own bullshit.
yes, we just need to like, it's not like I didn't know that bullshit was there,
Oh yeah, we all do.
but I owned it
Mm-hmm.
like I own my fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
It was like it had become a part of me. It had become an identity that I couldn't lose weight, that chronic stress had, you know, like shit all over my metabolism. And this is so hard and this is so difficult. And oh my gosh, Oprah always says, like, what we say after I am is what we become.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I know that too. I mean, I'm an Oprah fan. So I knew all the things and I couldn't seem to unclench myself from this identity, this bullshit identity that
It's
I
your
was
safe place.
creating.
Yeah.
It was my safe place because otherwise, if I don't own that identity, then like, what if I try something and it doesn't work? Then I become a failure.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if I can own, oh my gosh, nothing will work. Poor me. Oh,
I am this,
great.
and you make that who you are.
Yes. Yeah. And I see that. I see that with a lot of coaching clients. I see that with my clients when I was working in the prison, when I was working for my other government.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even when I was working at the learning disabilities clinic, when I first got out of university, it was like, oh, but I have ADHD. Oh, but he has dyslexia. So he's never going to do whatever with his life. Oh, well, I have OCD and it's the worst case of OCD ever. I could be in the journals, look at me. And what happens when we own that?
We
It
become.
becomes who we are. And
Yeah.
it becomes almost like we get recognition for being the worst at something, or we get recognition for our disorder or disease or our
Yeah.
situation. And it is like impossible to get out of that.
But what do we miss out on when we make these diagnoses our
Exactly.
identity?
Mhm. Right.
Because
And
then
I
that
shouldn't
is who we are, and that's not who we are.
Right, and I shouldn't
That's
have said impossible. It's never impossible to kinda get out of this
but
story
it
that we told ourselves,
feels
but
impossible.
it
Yes.
feels impossible, and
Mhm.
I even think of, like, how we well, if you think about Tom Brady even, right? Like, Tom Brady, best quarterback ever, I think, but, he wasn't really that fantastic in the draft. He didn't go first in the draft. He was way down there. He wasn't the fastest. I mean, and look at where he went. And he could have told himself these stories. I'm not good in the
Yeah.
combine. I'm
Mhm.
not fast enough. I'm
Yep.
not this enough. I didn't go high enough in the draft. I'm never going to make a ton of money. And I can't remember what they just offered him now, what the NFL just offered him to be a commentator. It was something crazy, like $325 million dollars or something.
Wow.
Like, and not to mention all the Super Bowls and all the everything else that he's
Yeah.
accomplished, but he could have owned that.
Oh, uh-huh. And he coulda got stuck there.
Stories, he could have gotten stuck in the stories. He could have gotten stuck in what everyone else's opinion, was of him, all of the critiques. I think that goes for anyone online. I think it goes
Yeah.
for anyone in a family. I think it's like
Yeah.
we can so easily get stuck in everyone else's opinion and in our opinions.
Mhm. And what's
And
worse is when we let someone else dictate
Mhm.
how we should behave. We show up and they don't like it and they shut it down. And
Yeah,
then instead of us going, "What the fuck was that? And who the hell are you?" Not
exactly.
necessarily to their face, but
Yeah,
to ourselves, like,
yeah,
this isn't your place.
right.
If you have to tone yourself down or whatever to make
Mhm,
this person okay, you need a new place. And then instead of doing that, we go, "Okay, I'll be quiet. I won't
mhm.
do anything to, I'll just be small over here. I won't
Yeah,
show up." And we
yeah.
miss out on life and we miss out on opportunities and we miss out on our greatness and our $358 million deal because we
Exactly.
listen to some person, their opinion
True.
of who or what we are.
Exactly. And I also think we get stuck in this, like, when you're we might have talked about this on the podcast before, but when you go home, like go to your childhood home or to hang
Yes.
out with your family, and you go in and you slip back into the identity of child in like
You get back in
the
your role.
the person, the role that you
Yeah.
played in that family when you're there.
Yeah.
And it's I think this the exact same. Like it takes courage to play a new role.
Mhm.
And it is uncomfortable for a lot of people
Mhm.
when we shift our roles because then, okay, wait a minute. If she's in a different role now, what do I do?
Who am I?
So you
Yeah.
can see
Yeah.
how it's almost like pressure from all areas for us
But
to
it's not
stay
even
small.
spoken.
It's not. That's what's so interesting.
Mhm. Yeah.
But like, what if we can just shed that bullshit
Mhm.
and just step into who we were always meant to be in our role, in the identity that we want to own, not in the one that keeps us stuck, but in the one that empowers us.
Who
Because
do we
that's what I
want to
feel.
be?
Who do we want to be?
Mhm.
Like, and we get to recreate every single day if we want to.
Yeah.
Like,
It's not a tattoo on our face.
it is not a tattoo on her face. So true. But that's what I feel like I did this week. I feel as though I just finally got tired of my bullshit. And I finally got tired of this story of like, oh man, this is going to take so long. When I first met with my naturopath, she was like, I said, how long is this going to take? Like, I've been trying to lose weight for a long period of time, then it hasn't worked. How's that for a story?
Mm,
And how long is this going to take? And what she said was, it will probably take longer than you think, and it won't happen in the way that you think that it will. And you and I talked about this last week after the podcast, but it's like, okay, I can't remember what you said exactly, but it was like, okay, well, that might be the case, but it doesn't need to be the case for you. And you can step into magic. Like you're not leaving room for magic or miracles.
Correct.
And this week, it was like the most subtle changes in my mindset, and yet the most pivotal,
Mm.
because I all of a sudden just thought, fuck that, watch me.
Mhm.
Like, fuck that, watch me.
Yeah.
And not that I don't love her, because I do love her. And I think that she's really helping me a lot. But at the same time, I refuse to accept that this has to take a long time for me to get back to like, my sort of comfortable weight,
Mhm.
the one that I feel the best at.
Do you know that once you just start working in that direction,
Mhm.
you're automatically gonna feel better?
Well, I already do.
See?
Like 2 days of this and I'm freaking on fire. Like,
See? And
isn't
that's
that
where the
crazy?
magic is. We think we
Yes,
have to get there before we feel like you feel right now, and that is bullshit.
exactly.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I mean, you've told me this repeatedly over the last year and a bit. And at the same time, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I know it, I know it, I know it. It was like I knew it in my head,
Yeah.
but man, I couldn't connect in my gut. And that's
'Cause you didn't
just
believe it.
plain old, yes.
Yeah.
It's just this like stuckness, this fear, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so what was interesting was, I have this like journaling 365 days of journaling challenge that I'm doing.
Mhm.
And one of the things that shifted for me was yesterday morning, I was thinking about like unwanted emotions and unwanted like things,
Mhm.
feelings. And I thought, I can feel physically, I can feel the anxiety in my body, even though I'm not very stressed. So I decided I'm going to journal and I'm going to write a letter to that emotion. So I wrote,
Oh.
"Dear anxiety, please fuck off." And as soon as I wrote it, I went, actually, no. I started thanking it.
Mhm.
I started saying, "Dear
Yeah.
anxiety, thank you for being here. Thank you for keeping me safe. Thank you for keeping me well. Thank you for protecting me when I felt like I couldn't take any more on. Like I could cry. It was so emotional for me." And then I said, "But I'm okay now. I can take it from here. I can do hard things. I
Oh.
don't need to worry anymore. I can step into my personal magic and I release you now." I can't tell you how freaking freeing that journal prompt was. And I felt like it was just like a channeled message, because
Mhm.
that wasn't where we were going that day. It was, like,
You were
I
in
don't
the
even remember.
vortex.
I was totally in the vortex.
Yeah.
I just sat down, grabbed my pen, and thought about the emotion, the stress that I didn't want. Sorry, the stress response.
Yes.
This is one of the things, this is like one of my nuances too, right? Because so often people say, "Oh, but I'm stressed, I'm stressed." And it's like it's something outside of themselves.
Yeah.
When it's
Yeah.
not. Our response is stress.
Mhm.
Or it's our stress response, and it's my anxiety
Because
response.
we are making something that's going on mean something,
Absolutely.
instead of just looking at it and observing it and saying, "Well, that's interesting. I wonder what that's here for." We go, "Oh my
Exactly.
god, the sky is falling and I'm gonna die.
Yes.
The world is over."
Let me think of how many ways I can stop this from happening. And if
Yeah.
I worry about it incessantly and stay up all night worrying about it, I'm
Oh,
going to
yeah.
come up with the perfect answer.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not true. You just
No.
kill your peace, right?
Yeah. You waste all of that time that you
Mhm.
spend making up bullshit, traumatic stories that trigger
Absolutely.
you and
Yeah.
put you in a freaking fetal position like a baby.
Yeah.
You don't get shit done. There is no
Not at all.
magic there. There is not an
Nope.
ounce of magic there. Yet we
No.
stay there.
True.
It's like, aren't we tired?
Right.
You know?
I know. And it's amazing how Like, it was just such a simple little shift.
Mhm.
And I knew, like, you were telling me this all that, like, you were saying, "Yeah, but, just look at something that you love about yourself and really focus on that." And I was really trying to do that, but in the back of my mind, this story's in my subconscious. This isn't gonna work, this isn't gonna work, nothing works, nothing has been working,
Mm,
I just keep gaining, right? It's gonna take me
mm.
forever, I can't. I
I'm gonna be
mean,
on 600-pound life before we know it. Did you go
oh,
there?
I did not go there, but
Okay, well, okay, that's good. You're
this
closer
is
to this
positive.
end.
Yeah. But it's so what I loved about this week for me
Mhm.
was like, it was like a switch like that.
Yeah.
In that one friggin' moment,
Mhm.
it was a switch like that. Like,
The
and we
power of a
expect,
day or a moment.
right? A moment.
Yeah.
A moment. Oh, I need to write a post like that. But it really was, and I think we expect that things take forever and ever and ever, and we feel like we've been struggling for so long sometimes,
Well, we have to struggle so
right?
long before the good stuff comes, Sandra.
Right. This is a story we say, and
Yeah.
then it's like, "Oh, yeah, this is gonna be a lot of trudging through,"
Or
and
is
it
it? I
doesn't
mean, it
have
is.
to
If
be.
you say it is, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
But it is, like, literally a split second, and I always say this, like, you can change your life in a second, and it feels like that happened for me this week.
I love it.
Isn't that wild? I
Uh-huh.
mean, I had a few days where I just, like, slept too, and
Yeah.
sleep helps. I was gonna initially talk about my sleep app, but, sleep does help. But this was like it was just a mindset shift,
Mhm.
opening myself up to magic, like you said.
Yeah. And what's important is the way you feel because you're in a space to
Mm,
create magic right now.
right.
And where
Right.
you were before, you couldn't see it or feel it.
Right.
And
And
you thought, I have to struggle. I have to struggle.
mhm,
I have to
mhm.
struggle.
Because so and so told me so,
Yeah.
because, my past defines my future.
Yeah.
No, I know that's not true.
Mhm. Yeah.
I know that every day can be day one.
Every
And
day is day
so,
one.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. Yeah, so exciting. And so you had a really good week. What
Yeah,
happened for you?
in fact, I was getting ready to tell you, I told one of my girlfriends on Sunday, she was asking about this week. She goes, "You got a busy week?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "But I think it's going to be a game changer for me. Like there's something
Mm,
going into this week. There's some magical stuff happening." And I
nice.
just said it. I didn't think much about it.
Yeah.
And holy fuck, this week has been an amazing, amazing week.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
started 2 new groups. Um,
Oh, cool.
I was asked to speak at the luncheon today for our surgical office and our aesthetics office.
Oh, nice.
And, I'm going, and they kind of sprung it on me.
Mhm.
Not, I mean, they gave me plenty of time. But in my mind, I'm like, I've got this and this and this. And I tend to try to do things in order.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay,
And it's just to keep me from getting overwhelmed. I've compartmentalized very, very well.
great.
But I started thinking about it like you've got to figure out what you're going to do. And I did this yesterday, what you're going to do tomorrow for the meeting. And so, I put some goodie bags together and printed some things out. And I'm like, "Do you want to do a PowerPoint?" And I'm like, "I ain't got time for a PowerPoint. They get me. I am all
Mhm.
they need." And so I went upstairs and I was getting everything set up. And one of the doctors was like, well, actually, both the doctors at separate times were like, "Do you need help setting up your PowerPoint?" And I'm like, "I don't have a PowerPoint. They get me."
Yeah.
Whereas before, I would have been like, "Shit, they want me to do a PowerPoint. I failed them. They're going to think I'm not prepared. They're making up these stupid bullshit stories." But I was just like, I'm it.
I love it.
And so everyone gets their lunch and everyone, do kind of do announcements and stuff for the office. And then I'm up, and we had a great talk. It was a conversation that included them,
Mhm.
but it was really about what I do. But I didn't just talk about what I do for diets. I went into mindset, and I was like,
Nice.
I don't care.
Mhm.
This is my magic.
I
And
love it.
and the feedback was amazing. And I thought, you showed up today.
Mhm.
You didn't look at these people. I mean, I work with some badass freaking people
Mhm.
that I respect the hell out of. And instead of me getting insecure going, well, they know more than me. Well, I don't think they know more than me about this. This
Right.
is where my zone of magic.
Yeah.
Why not share it? And so I showed up today that way. And I'm looking back at my week going, you showed up like that all week. Look at what you've created this week. And
Doesn't it feel good too, though? Like, doesn't it
yes,
just feel exhilarating?
and it energizes me.
Yes.
Um, Last night I got home and I had a consult that I had scheduled over the weekend. And so it was like at 6:30, and I had worked a long day. Like
Mhm.
I couldn't come in and eat my salad. Like I literally got in the door and it was like 6:20,
Mhm.
and my call was at 6:30. So I had to get everything moved in the bedroom because everybody was here. So I wasn't in this spot. I was in the bedroom. Um, but I get on this call and I'm exhausted, by the way. And this girl gets on the call, and she's the most adorable thing I've ever seen. She's beautiful, but she's happy and joyful. Um, her presence, her energy was just like, oh my God, I love you. Like it was that kind of a thing. And we connected immediately. And then I start talking about Abraham. We were so in sync. Like it was like a divine meeting. And I love it when I get those clients, whether they're my coaching clients, whether they're my weight loss patients. You can feel how close they are to where they want to be, because some of her goals, I'm looking at her going, you're on the verge. You're
Exactly.
right there. I could see. And so I know I'm going to be able to witness magic with this girl. And when I witness it, I'm in the vortex right there with him. So,
Exactly.
but that was my week. That was the magical week that I had. And I'm so freaking excited about the magic that's coming next week,
Why?
because I don't know what it is.
Oh,
I have no idea.
but it's I don't know, I love living like that too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love being in this space. I think I told you about this Winnie the Pooh quote that I've loved, loved, loved my entire life, and I don't even remember what it is, but it's something like, um, Piglet says to I can't remember, but it's like Piglet and Pooh are talking to each other,
Uh-huh.
and it's like one of them says, "What are you going to do this week?" And the other one says, "What are you going to eat this week?" And they say it's the same thing. It's like this moment of like, "Ooh, this is exciting. What's going to
Yeah.
happen this week?" Or "What am I going to eat today?" It's the same
Yeah.
thing. It's
Same
all
thing.
good. And I always love this idea of like every single Monday morning, even when I was at work, even when I went to work and I felt really stressed, I always felt this excitement of a Monday. What is going It was like the start of the week for me, and
Yeah.
what is going to happen this whole week? Like
Yeah.
it just felt so amazing.
Like an adventure. What's out there? Instead of being fearful of it. Oh my God, what's out there? I'm so scared.
Yeah,
Or,
exactly.
"Ooh,
Yeah.
what's going
I
to
know, I
happen
love
next?"
it.
Yeah. And with that, we are out of time. And by out of time, I mean overtime. Oh, but thank you, Sandra. I enjoyed this. This was good and
Me
quick
too.
as usual.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next Thursday on the Happy Half Hour. Bye.
Bye.